The only thing I'm seeing I'd like to put an amend on, perhaps a little more room here for the fixins. You know what I'm talking about?
Ooh, we're gonna have a lot of fixins?
We're gonna have so many fucking fixins up in this motherfucker. This shit's gonna go through the roof, man.
Oh.
God damn, I'm shitting gold these days.
We made it. We made it.
The devil, the haters, the bloggers, the papers, the labels, they label me. But they can't relate to our struggle, my nigga. We came up from slavery. Apologies go out to all of my fans because they waited so patiently. This one is for all of the lost and forgotten black angels that pray for me. A million niggas love me cause I'm ill. The greatest story ever told, niggas in the field. From Solomon to Sambo to Django, it's fact. I'm the Farrakhan of rap and I get it from the wheel. The son of WD, who hung around in the deep, who ran around in the street. The trap gods raised me, face all on the Sphinx, story all on the wall of the pyramids. Niggas know the black god saved me. You can blow the nose off, that won't change it. Obamacare won't heal all that anguish. We came a long way from the bottom of the boat. All praise to the Mac D, we found our language. Gold necklace, middle finger erected. God tried to Shabazz, styling on the record. Lost sons of Muhammad, we wildin' in the record. The Shadu, Alad, and Lahad is the message. All these niggas, I got to fight one. All these devils, I got to strike some. All these rebels just waiting on the wall cry. Mama said, son, you got to strike drum. Rock nation, celebration, motivation, elevation. Nigga, we made it from slaves on the slave ship, live from the cotton field, straight to the spaceship.
Kind of makes me wonder why the hell so many people are trying to tell me to slow down. Seems like motherfuckers should be shutting the hell up and enjoying the show.
Hopped up the slave ship, popped up my chain and took it to Jacob. I gotta go play it. More than that bitch, like nigga, we made it. I own my own masters. No, I ain't missing no royalty statements. I can't be rated. Damn, ho, stun on them haters. Sorry, Mr. Drizzy, for so much y'all talk. Silly me rapping about shit that I really bought. While these rappers rap about guns they ain't shot. And a bunch of other silly shit that they ain't got. I'm on my loop, beat up, young go. Stunting on stage after 12 years a slave. This ace of spade look like an Oscar. Black tux look like a mobster. Don't make me lie, ya. Nigga, watch your tone. I come to court with black boxes on. Y'all hella jealous of my melatonin. I can black out at any given moment. I'm God. Jesus, 7-letter made. So with my arms to feed shackle, I still get paid. All praise is due. I'm ready to chase a Yaku back in the cage. These are the last days. What do I sing phase? Showed up to the last supper. It's some brand new J's. I'm the true living. Book a hoe. New religion ain't from the other world. Alien superstition. You blind, baby. Blind to the fact of who you are, maybe. My bloodline's crazy. Kings and queens and Michael Jordan rings. I go stupido, sucio. The flow's filthy. Y'all can't kill me. I've been inoculated from the snakes in the face and your corny handshakes. Cocksucker, we made it. Ah.
Let's do it. I'm Black Hannibal, running through your capital on elephants. Civilize a savage with my elegance. Militant intelligence, run through your defense. Strike like a ninja, slice, cut, and injure. Leave no prisoners, just bodies on the battlefield. I'm Spartacus with a sword and shield. Something like a marksman with cold blue steel. Wore paint on my face, keep my identity concealed. Advance on your camp like dozens of killer ants. Snatch your king like chess, checkmate is his death. While my team have fun with your queen. Throw your bishops off the roof, your knights flee the scene. I plant bombs in the home of your pawns. The detonation shook the foundation of your rooks. Holding shotguns with double barrels. They impact so hard when it blasts through your body travels. Yeah. Street Spartacus. Black Spartacus. Black Spartacus. Black Spartacus. Black Spartacus. Black Spartacus. Burn your flag as I overthrow your government. New politics, no Democrats and Republicans. Spiritual systems built by wise men who's true in living. The foundation's no longer Christian. Teaching universally the wisdom of the nations. New currency, no more dollar bills with white faces. No more Caucasian domination. All races participate in cultivating education. The people hungry and they ain't waiting. No more debating. Let's overthrow the haven to Satan. This whole world needs some new changes. Rulers with new faces. It's time to take out the racists. Spartacus from the new ages. From the page to the stage, pull a blade on the money changers. Spartacus from the new ages. From this page to the stage, pull a blade on the money changers.
Peace, power, prosperity. Rob Blackstorm in the building. Shout out to everyone who was here early on time. All right, I'm waiting for Monique Ruffin. She has not popped up yet, but the show must go on, right? Y'all are still here. Y'all still want to get this wisdom. Y'all still want to get this knowledge. I do have the wonderful, the lovely, the magical one half of the Zodiac Queens. Give it up for Mel Divine Feminine Works.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? I love the sound effects.
Thank you. So, Mel, we are here. It's a new year. Happy New Year to everyone here.
Happy fiscal New Year to everybody. We all know it's not the natural New Year, but socially we decided that we were going to call January 1st the New Year. So Happy New Year nonetheless to everybody out there.
That's right, Mel. Put me in my place. I appreciate it.
No, I didn't mean it like that. I didn't mean it like that.
But that's cool. Let me know what's up. I appreciate that. So it is, yeah, but it's the fiscal New Year. I appreciate it. And yeah, we are coming into a lot of new energy that's popping off right now, Mel. You know, it's yeah, Portia, that was me rapping. Yep, that was me rapping. EP is coming soon. Look out for that EP. It will be coming soon. Okay. March. In fact, let me shout out people who's in the building first, Mel. Then we'll get into our 1, 2, 3 step. Let's shout out. So shout out to Marjorie Lara, Portia Lee, Hollow Vegeta as always, one of my longtime supporters, Justina B. And I think that's, yeah, I got everybody here that has commented so far. So if you do want your shout out, come in, comment. Thank you for watching the videos. Thank you for appreciating them. I do appreciate your time, your patronage, and your love and support. Without you, there would be no reason for me to even have a channel, right? So I appreciate you guys for stopping by and spending your time. And I appreciate all the support last year, all the support for the year going forward. And you know, definitely check out that 2023 Year of the Seven. I had a very strong channel going last night. And
it was good.
You saw it?
Yeah, I did. I caught it. It was good.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, I was definitely in a channeling vibe. So I was in rare form. So you know, hopefully you guys could digest that and get what you need out of it, you know. But yeah, it is that time, Mel. Yeah, man, I think it's very much the year of it's the year of divine masculine energy. The year of divine masculine energy. And when I say masculine, I don't mean men. Like, I don't mean the physical frame, but I do mean the spiritual frame, meaning that it's not about your inner knowledge, your inner philosophy, right? It's not about your inner thing. It's not about you hiding your spirituality in the closet. It's about taking the things out of your soul. Last year, 2022, was the year of the feminine, the year of that feminine energy, the year of that soul energy. And now it's about putting those things out to the forefront, stepping out in bravery, stepping out in courage. Well, before I get into the full moon, Mel, I want to talk a little bit about Jupiter and Aries, how that plays into this Capricorn energy that we're in, that Saturnian energy, and how we could turn, so to speak, turn the alchemy, lead into gold.
Okay, that's a good topic. So Jupiter in Aries is very action oriented. It's really about creating your own abundance, right? Now, what's interesting is that Aries is a cardinal sign and Capricorn is a cardinal sign. Both of those signs are concerned with starting new things. But because they're both cardinal signs, they're actually square to each other. So how this is sort of going to play out is, like, personally, you're going to feel like you want to start something new. Personally, you're going to feel like your engine is revved up. You really want to move forward and create some things in your life. But that sun in Capricorn is really bringing your attention and your consciousness to the structures that are already in place. So you may feel like, all right, I want to make money, but perhaps how you are structured, how you've been working, the job you have, it's not in alignment with where your imagination is, if that makes any sense. So we're trying to, and it's sort of emblematic of that new year, new me energy. Like, you know, January 1st, like I'm sure the gym is fucking packed
Oh,
today.
man, I
I'm
wouldn't
sure,
even
I'm sure that everyone is like at the grocery store getting organic, and everyone's trying to be on some new vegan shit, right? It's like that's where your imagination is. That's what you're trying to create. Meanwhile, that Sun and Capricorn energy is like, girl, you know, you ate a whole pig yesterday for New Year's Day. You know, you haven't worked out in like 6 years. Like, what are you really doing? So that's sort of how it is right now. Okay. But Jupiter takes about a year to get through each sign. Now, Jupiter was retrograde for a little bit. So it just went into Aries like 2 weeks ago. So we've got another like 6 months of Jupiter in Aries. So that dense Capricorn, that dense Sun in Capricorn energy is going to pass after Capricorn season, right? And then come Aquarius season, that you're still going to have that desire to start new things. You're still going to have that motivation to create something new in a bold and dynamic way, because that's the essence of Jupiter in Aries. But then when the sun moves into Aquarius, that's going to form a sextile, I believe. Yeah, a sextile. And sextiles are all about opportunity, especially with the sun being in Aquarius. It's going to be about future opportunities, or opportunities that have a lot to do with different technology, or opportunities to work with different people towards the achievement of your goals. So you're going to find that it's difficult, that Jupiter and Aries energy is going to be difficult in Capricorn season, right? Because even though naturally it's the winter solstice, right? And naturally this is the time for hibernation. But astrologically, Capricorn is a sign of starting new things. It's just that you're starting new things in the dead of winter. So you're met with obstacles, you're met with challenges, you're met with delays. It doesn't mean you're not supposed to start anything. It just means that you really have to have the fortitude to push through all of the obstacles that you're going to face. Right. So this Jupiter and Aries transit, it's going to be a little tough right now, but come end of January into February, you're going to find that new opportunities are going to be popping up all over the place, right? And it all depends on where it's going down in your chart. Like, let's say your Jupiter in Aries so let's say that you are a Pisces rising, right? Aries is going to be your second house. That's your money house. So Jupiter in Aries is going to give you a whole bunch of opportunities to make money in new ways. And come Aquarius season, this is where you're going to implement technology in order to make money in new, bold, and dynamic ways.
Interesting. Now, Mel, tell me something about this. The reason I'm starting this off is because on my natal chart, my Jupiter is in Aries, like natally. So
so you're having a Jupiter return.
Yes, I'm having a Jupiter return, right? So that means the shmoney is coming, right?
Well,
talk to me nice, Mel. Talk to me nice.
It could be, yes. Okay. So Jupiter is all about expansion. So I want you to think back to late 2010, early 2011. So what was going on at that time?
Okay.
That's going to give, it's almost like now you're going to experience a new chapter of whatever happened back then.
Got it.
And it's going to be opportunities for growth and expansion. So let's say like 10 years ago, you like were studying something, right? Like let's say you were in school for something. This new Jupiter return, this new Jupiter cycle could find you opening a business for what you studied, or sort of whatever happened. Is this new cycle is going to be an expansion of that.
What about just so that's a great preview. I like that. Was there a negative side that we could go into this Jupiter Aries? What's the flip side of that we could see how it played out into the world, especially during Jupiter, Saturn, Satan, right?
Mm-hmm. And I like that you brought that up, because that actually sort of, that's not like characteristic of Jupiter energy, but it kind of is in a way. So Jupiter is all about expansion, but it's also about excess. It's about like over promising, under delivering, overspending, over exaggerating. And so Jupiter and Aries, that Aries energy, that's that fire energy, right? That's that fire of creation energy. So this could be like, the way it could play out negatively is like you are all about starting new things, but you're trying to start 10 million different new things, right? Especially with Aries ruler currently in Gemini. So the ideas are going to be like firing on all cylinders. It's going to be like a bunch of ideas. You have a bunch of new things, especially now at the beginning of the year. Everyone wants to do 1,000,001 things. They want to be an entrepreneur. They want to lose weight. They want to be a mom. They want to be a husband. Like everyone wants to do all the things. But with Jupiter and Aries, it can tend to conflate how you think about these things in a way that's not necessarily realistic. The sun in Capricorn is going to keep you grounded. So that's going to give you that dose of realism to temper that. Okay. But when the sun goes into Aquarius, your mind is going to be so far forward, it really may be hard to get things grounded in reality. Right. Like your imagination may be running wild, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. I mean, although every planet has
escapism, right? Unless you delve into escapism and things like that. Right.
Exactly. Right. It's not necessarily inherently bad. It's just that if you let it get the best of you and you're not making any tangible steps toward anything, that's kind of how you can have a negative experience with Jupiter and Aries.
Got you. Very good information. Very great information for the family. I want to talk about, I know we talked about this last video, but I kind of want to see, because I feel like Capricorn is such a sign where it's really, that seagull energy, right? Coming from within, that watery, coming from the soul, right? And putting that goat energy. But I feel that goat ramming forward, right? New things, initiating that aggressive energy. Like you said, everybody's trying to do the most, right? And, but it's grounding. It's Capricorn, that earth sign, right? That Saturnian energy where it's really about planning, right? Building structures, making sure that our systems are in order, right? Especially with Mercury retrograde being taking part in the party, so to speak, right? Being another aspect of the zodiac system that is at play, or the planetary influence that's at play at this time. With the Mars retrograde in Gemini, it is ending on the 12th. Is that would that be more of something with the Aries energy being aggressive, the Mars energy being aggressive? Are there things we should look out for as far as anger, the way we deal with people and things like that? Or is it just something that we should use to put towards our planning and our structures? Being that Capricorn is traditionally winter solstice, a time of rest. I don't know if that was a good question, but.
No, and that makes complete sense. It's actually, to answer your question, it's like both. On the one hand, it's like energy is just energy, right? It's how you use it. So you can use it constructively to plan, right? This is sort of, I was talking before, like your mind is going to be running, when Mars goes direct in Gemini, it's like your mind is going to be running a mile a minute. Like it's a lot of ideas, a lot of learning new things, right? There's going to be this surge of this desire for knowledge, not even just when Mars goes direct, but just 2023 generally, because it's a 7-year. So people are going to be very hungry for knowledge, very desirous of learning new things. But again, if you're stretching yourself too thin, if you're trying to learn Reiki, sound healing, like reflexology, tarot, you're trying to do all of this at once. Yeah, that scattered energy, it's not really going to provide anything fruitful or tangible, right? So that's sort of using it to plan and trying your best to sort of hone in that energy and focus it is going to be a good use of that energy. Now, conversely, Mars is the planet of conflict and war. And so, they say like your tongue is your sword. And that's so evident with Mars direct in Gemini. Like this is people jumping to conclusions, not really looking at things from a deeper perspective, but going off of impulse and instinct when it comes to their communication and how they're talking to one another. This is people really popping off like real fast. This is people getting into fights, a lot of heated debates, as if we haven't had enough of that already, but it's only going to be exacerbated when Mars goes direct in Gemini. So it's all about how you use it. I mean, I know one of the things that if I'm being completely honest, right before this live, like I was triggered as hell. And one of my triggers is anger. Not that I have an impulse control problem, but I hold in my anger. As a Taurus rising, like it takes a lot for me to get mad. But then when I get mad, I'm like a bull in a china shop, right? And learning how to temper that is one of my lessons personally. But I think Mars and Gemini I think a lot of people are going to be working through that, right? And learning that there is a place for anger, there is a place for impulsivity, there is even a place for popping off, right? Like there's a place for that. But learning how to use it constructively is something that I think people are going to be working through when Mars goes direct in Gemini.
Yeah, so it sounds to me like a lot of deep breathing exercises should be the thing that people really get into this season. Really get into that deep breathing, fire breathing, learning to control your breath, because spirit, right, is controlled by the breath. When we talk about spirituality or being spiritual, right, spirit, just the etymology of the word spirit means to breathe, or the wind. So we're all breathing, right? We're all breathing the same air. We all sharing the same air, right? So to be spiritual, everybody's spiritual. I mean, the worst people in the world are spiritual as well. So it's how you're controlling your spirit. Is the spirit you're controlling from the depths of hell, so to speak, or the depths of your lower self? Or is it from the heavens in you, from the depths of your higher self? And only you could do that as these planetary influences come into play. Because based on what you're saying, Mel, the world is going to be a little chaotic, right, during the first month, because there's people who don't know this knowledge. So when these planets start to go direct, right, and these planetary influences in Saturn, right, which is cycle of karma, there's going to be people that don't know how to handle it. There's going to be people that are getting, higher than the highest kite. There's going to be people out here, here in New York, there's a lot of random attacks, right, unprovoked attacks, where especially with women, where women are just getting attacked for no reason by men. There's a lot of energy, a lot of childhood trauma with men with mothers. There's a lot of childhood trauma with men dealing with women, right? There's also on the other side, women dealing with their fathers and things like that, right? So there's a lot of people that are caught up in a powder keg. Everybody knows that the prices are going up on everything, right? I was looking at the Arizona bottle. It's $1.25 instead of $1. So you can't even give a kid $1 anymore. What is he going to get from the store, right? Give a little kid $1, you can't even get anything. So, prices are going up. Things are going up. It's people's money is getting tighter. Their jobs aren't paying more, So it's really a time that we want to hone into our breathing, get into stirring that chi, that ra, that prana, right? So we could have a sense of stillness amongst the chaos, and so that we could be our own divination tool, right? We could see things before they happen. We could temper ourselves. Like you said, you were triggered, but you still were, you didn't cancel. You still were able to come on here and, work, which is, that's a technique, right? Because the average person or the average human, I'm going through this, I can't really do it, blah, blah, blah. So that's spiritual power right there. Spirituality is not about being spiritual when everything's going good. Everybody could be spiritual when you got all the money, you got your boo, you're taking trips to France, whatever. Everybody could be spiritual then. It's when
you namasteing everything, right? Namaste. Everything right. When shit hits the fan, you're like, fuck this namaste shit. Like,
right. You don't want to hear that namaste shit. You don't want to hear that peace shit, right? You don't want to hear none of that shit I'm talking about, or Mel's talking about, when shit hits the fan, right? But that's really when you got to tune in. That's really why you got to go into your spiritual bag and tap into your spiritual tools and channel that energy into something more positive. Even, the fellas out here with the semen retention thing, if you out here this year just draining your seed every single day and you don't have a wife or something like that, or a girl, you really want to consider what you're doing and how you're weakening yourself. How is that making you more emotional? How is that making you more vulnerable to being sensitive to attacks, to people's talk, to what people are saying, right? You're built, I posted this on Facebook, right? You're built strong for a reason, right? So you're built to handle, your shoulders are built broader than women's for a reason. So you're built to handle different things differently. We got to stop going online and complaining and whining and, crying about things that honestly, as men in this year of 2023, we're supposed to be problem solving. We're supposed to be coming up with systems. We're supposed to be creating things and implementing things, new things to put into the cipher. So I think that should be our focus, as this is a rest season, right? Kind of a rest and digest season. Even though we all want to do the most, we all want to start something new. And, I believe that everyone should have some sort of focus for the new year of a new thing that they want to learn. So if it is tarot, focus on that. Just stay focused on tarot for the next 2 months. If it is Reiki, stay focused on Reiki for the next 2 months, right? Whatever it is, right? If you want to focus just on becoming a better parent, get some books on parenting. Focus on that for the next 2 months, right? And that'll serve you well. Just focus on those things, and then you can move on to the next thing and the next thing. But don't rush your progress. It takes a baby to a toddler to a preteen to a teen to an adult until you get, turn to an OG like me, right? So the more time, it takes time to grow, is what I'm saying. So don't rush the process. Don't speed the process.
Exactly. And also when it comes to everything is not for everybody, right? And I think this is one of the things you learn as you go through your spiritual ascension and your journey. There's this paradigm in society that, okay, it's January, you're supposed to do this. You're 30 years old, you're supposed to do this. Everyone is different. And we are in a universal 7 year. That means that we all have this collective 7 energy, but that's only part of the story. Like, you need to look at your personal year, even your personal month, your personal day when it comes to numerology, because while it is a universal 7 year, right, which means it's learning, it's rest, for some, it may be your personal 5 year, which is all about change. So you may be prompted to make certain changes or take certain actions when someone else, it's their year to sort of sit down and just learn, right? So you really need to learn yourself, what's for you, what you're supposed to be doing, and move from there, like move that way. And this is something that I've taken to heart and really try to implement in my life, because it's very easy to get distracted, especially with social media. Everyone's talking about, you need to open a business, you need to be a boss bitch, you need to be doing this, you need to be traveling. Maybe it's not your year for that. Maybe this is the year you do the work, so that the following year, when it is your time, that's when that shit pops off, right? So in this new year, like, I'm really urging everyone to study yourself. Apart from just studying the things that you're interested in or getting knowledge about spirituality and your spiritual ascension, study yourself. Who are you? What are you here to do? And what timeline are you on? We're not all on the same timeline. It's great when you can commune with people who are, right? But the reality is that we have different times, different things pop off in life for us at different times. And you need to know where you are right now to take advantage and to move according to spirit. Because when you know who you are, it's like you are in tandem with spirit, right? You and spirit are working together. That's when things start to manifest. That's when things start to flow. It's when you're looking at everybody else's timeline, you think that you have to do this by the perfect. And I'm sorry, I'm going on a rant with this, but I feel the need to
go off.
Marriage, dating,
we Persian. Go ahead.
right? Like, people think, like, I know me, there's a lot of, Black couples revolution and all of these things on my timeline, right? I love to see those kind of things, but maybe I'm not in a season for that right now. And just because I'm not saying that I'm not putting that out there. I'm just example. If it's not my season, I don't have to be discouraged, like, oh, it's not going to happen or whatever. I need to know me, know where I'm on my path so that I can make those things happen. Maybe this is the year where I need to build up myself, or maybe this is the year I need to be social so I can find that person, right? Like, you need to know where you are, but to know where you are, you need to know who you are. So above anything else, before you start studying tarot or astrology or anything, study yourself. Study your personal numbers. Numerology needs to be your best friend. I will say that outright. Apart from spirituality, apart from, spiritual knowledge, apart from astrology, numerology is your best friend, because it tells you exactly who you are, where you're vibing, what you need to be doing, what suits you. And that's just spirit talking to you. It's not some man-made thing. It's literally spirit saying, this is the code I've given you. This is your makeup. This is who you are. So study yourself. It'll make everything so much easier.
Yep. And it's interesting that I have this here, right? Just like
yep. I've been rereading that over the last couple of weeks.
Lloyd Strahan numbers and you. I want to go into this number 7 real quick since that came up. So he says the number 7 is masculine in nature. It was under the rulership of the moon in the past, but it has now been assigned to the planet Neptune. Okay. So it represents the sign of Cancer in the 5th house. We're going to talk about Cancer soon, and Pisces in the 12th house. All right. So it says the positive, knowledgeable, intuitive, love of distant travel, refined, perfectionist, psychic, independent, discriminating, thorough, profound, religious, inspired, analytical, probing, secretive, researching, seeker of truth, philosophical, contended, and an authority. All right. And the negative is being sarcastic, being a drifter. These are the people you want to look out for, right? And you look out for this in yourself, most importantly, because everybody's a reflection of you. So sarcastic, drifter, recluse, hermit, fault finding, too demanding, no depth, skeptical, crafty, cunning, deceitful, withdrawn, schemer, faithless, too critical. All right. So that is the number 7 and the year that we are under right now. And yes, Mel is correct. You want to get something like a tool like this, you should know your numerology for sure. You should have some idea of your year, right? What your number is, right? I'm a 1 life path. You should know your life path. You should have some sort of idea of what that is, right? You want to have that. So you have a guidepost. That's your first guide. What is my life path? Okay. What is my number? Then you can expand into everything else. Get that, then get your birth chart, right? Go into your birth chart, go to astro-seek.com. I showed y'all that last night. Go into your birth chart, go to the left, read everything that's going on the left, right? Including your Chiron, your Lilith, everything. Even if you don't understand everything about astrology, just start to read it so you can get a basic blueprint. Now you know what you're working with. Now you know your path of destiny. Now you know what you need to heal, or path of destiny through the North Node. You know what you need to heal through your Chiron, right? You know what your sun sign's about. You know what your moon, how you're expressing yourself and how people view you in the world, right? You know your Mercury, how you should best communicate, and so on and so forth. Your Venus, right? What type of, how you deal with your booze, how you deal with people that you're around, right? What you may need to work on, what house what these things are in, right? And just slowly start to learn your own individual blueprint. Because the more you learn your own individual blueprint, the better you will be and the more guidance you will have. A person on YouTube, as great as me and Mel are, and the geniuses that we both are, we cannot save you, right? You have to save yourself. You have to do your own Daniel Sunning, right? And wax on and wax off, right? You can't get it from YouTube, and you can't even get it from books. To know the truth is to live the truth. I've been saying that past couple of months. To know truth is to live truth. So you have to live this, right? You have to get into the space and sphere where you know thyself. That is the first law when you go into an Egyptian university, Egyptian mystery school, is man know thyself. It's what the oracle pointed up to in Neo, Temet Nose, man know thyself. When he came in to see the oracle, that was the first thing she pointed to and told him. So that is always the first and foremost thing that has to happen. If you're not doing that, then you're playing yourself. And all you are is a dummy with a lot of knowledge. There's a lot of dummies with a lot of knowledge out here, right? A lot of people fumbling their life. But when they get on these YouTube streets, right, they're the smartest people on the earth. I've seen them. I've been around them. I've been around these people with photographic memories. So I know who they are. I know what they are, right? But that does not mean that they are living the lifestyle to the maximum potential that they could. And they are living the life that they want to live. And that's what you want to do. And the best way to do that is to know thyself. So yeah, I appreciate that rant, Mel. Definitely, definitely. Let's get into, I want to talk about this. I don't know if you're into this, but I read this and I thought it was interesting. And if this is not, part of your pantheon, that's cool. But Lilith going into Leo on the 8th. Is that something you F with or nah?
It's funny that you bring that up because part of my journey right now is exploring my Lilith and all of that. So I've been actually doing a lot of research on that lately. And
Mm.
Lilith is it's kind of complex. It's kind of complex. Basically, Lilith is your shadow side, right? And depending on where it is in your natal chart, that shows you your animalistic nature. in a way. It shows sort of your lower base energy, and not in a bad way though. It just shows your humanity essentially. So Lilith's changing signs. I don't find that the transit of Lilith means much unless it's activating your native Lilith. So if you have a Lilith that's going to be aspecting this transiting Lilith in Leo, right? If it's making an aspect or an angle to this transiting Lilith, then your native Lilith will be activated, right?
Mhm.
But the transit of Lilith itself, I don't find that it has too much like real time effect on us. Like it's a very personal energy. So it's not like a Pluto, it's not like a Saturn where we feel that as a society. It's more so this personal energy, and it gets triggered depending on what else is going in the cosmos. But by and large, it's your animalistic, your impulsive nature and your shadow side.
Gotcha. So with it going into Leo, it really would be, I guess, because Leo is a sun sign, so it really would be what you personally, your personal shining, so to speak, right? Just to keep it simple, right?
Mhm.
Your personal light, your personal glow, right? And bringing that shadow to the forefront, right? What we were talking
Mhm.
about this year is really about, right? Bringing your soul into the light, right? Stop hiding who you are, stop dimming your light for people, stop people pleasing, stop hanging in circles that don't support you. Stop having booze that don't accept who you truly are. Stop dumbing down for people. There's a lot of people that dumb down, and I've done it, many a times, many years, right? Dumb down for people because you want to be accepted. You want to fit in. She looks good. She got a fat ass. She's pretty, right? You don't want to seem too this or too that. You don't want to tell her about your witchy and magical ways, right? Because they might not love you. Somebody's going to love you for you. There's billions of people on the planet. There is going to be somebody, more than one somebody when you're doing this work, right? There's going to be more than one somebody that are going to start coming after you because as you do this work, you become more magnetic. You have an electromagnetic field around you. Any scientist worth a penny will tell you that. You have an electromagnetic field around you. That is your aura. So it's electric and it's magnetic. Guess who charges it up? You do, right? So the planets don't, right? Your mama ain't, you school that you go to ain't, right? Your cousin, your auntie, your grandma, right? None of them are going to charge it up but you. So you have to charge up that electromagnetic field. So this Leo energy, this light energy is something you're going to nurture. And like Mel was saying, the best thing to do is know thyself. Know your dark side and your light side, right? That's what Lilith is about. Know your dark side and your light side, right? We all have triggers. We all have things that we like and dislike, but understand that and understand how to minimize those triggers, right? Don't let the triggers control you. Again, Mel said she was triggered, but she still came on alive. I know a lot of women who would not. They would say, I can't do it, right? So, and men are more sensitive now than ever. So they, they probably would cancel. "Nah, I got my girl or whatever. I'll get you later." You hear things like that. So if you're triggered, watch your triggers, work on those triggers so that they're not so triggerable, right? You should be able to scroll social media and not be angry, right? Those of you women who are watching them Lifetime movies every Sunday, never dated a woman that's watching them Lifetime movies, and I've had a good relationship. I'm just saying, do it that
I
way.
used to love those. Not just that. My thing, so my Lilith is in Scorpio, so you already know my dark side is dark. I
Dark.
love Snapped. Like
Yeah.
women killers and shit. Like I would be watching those marathons all damn day. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not a killer or anything like that. But
No,
I'm
but
just
that's
saying.
the detective in you. Yeah, that's detective in you. And a protective aspect, protecting yourself.
Mhm.
Yeah, I know a lot of women. Snap to me is better than look, Snap is forensics. So that's at least scientific, right?
Yeah, them Lifetime movies are just.
I remember Mel, I was dating this woman, man. Every Sunday we lived together. Every Sunday we would have arguments. And I didn't understand why. I wasn't doing that. And I was super faithful to this woman. And every Sunday we would have stupid arguments. And I said, "Oh, it's the fucking Lifetime movies." I said, "It's the life." She thinks I'm a killer. She thinks I'm a nut now. She thinks that she's looking at me. She's, looking at the movie and she looks at me and she double check it, things and shit. And all of a sudden my phone's in the bathroom and I know I had it in the bedroom, right? So,
Yeah, you definitely have to. And one thing I will say, just generally speaking, about being on the spiritual path, you become extremely sensitive to the things that you hear and the things that you watch. Like there are certain things I can no longer watch anymore because it puts you on that wavelength real quick. So when before, like as before, when you're asleep, you can see anything and you're sort of desensitized to it. But I find that as you embark on this journey and as you continue on this journey, you become extremely sensitive to the things that you hear and that you watch. So it's really important that you pay attention to what you are ingesting because, and the thing is, it's like you can't unring a bell, right? You can't unsee something, you can't unlearn something. When you're awakened, let me not say that. When you are conscious, when you're living consciously, you're not going to be able to watch things the same. You're not going to be able to process things in the same way. And I know I stopped watching Snapped. Not only that, I think I saw every episode, but it was also because it was just,
I'm finished.
like, I ain't even gonna hold you. I think it's because I watch every episode, but I can't watch those kind of things anymore because it's like you can tune into that frequency extremely quickly when you're conscious.
Yeah.
You gotta be careful.
Yeah, the more you wake up, the harder it is to watch certain things. And even myself, like I'm a huge basketball nut, and I even remind myself, the more I do this work, the less games I watch. The less I'm interested. It's very interesting how this thing works, but the less interested I'm in the sports, and not that I'm not watching them at all, but I'm not as invested as I normally would be. I'm more invested in the work and development and just even if it's just chilling or hanging out. I'm more invested in that than I am just watching the games and being caught up in the stats and things like that, the narratives in sports. Right? Sports is like male soap opera. It's really like male gossip, in a way, right? Men don't see it like that, but it really is, right? Men will sit for an hour and we'll talk about Jordan and LeBron and shit like that. So it's really like a gossip, Tom Brady or whatever. But there's nothing wrong with that, right? Everybody deserves their outlet. But we want to make sure that our outlets aren't taking us away from this growth and development, right? If you're watching a Netflix marathon on a Saturday, right? And you didn't watch, I don't know, 8 episodes of Wednesday, right? And you haven't done any reading, you haven't done any study, you don't know, you still coming on the internet in 2023 talking about, well, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. I don't know why I'm here. I don't know what my purpose is. No, please tell me what my purpose is. You in the comment sections going crazy. But you watched every episode of Dama. You know what I'm saying? You watched every episode of motherfucking the Inside Job, right? You know every conspiracy theory in the world. But do you know you, right? Have you tapped into who you are? So it's very important that we really take these things seriously in 2023 because I like Mel said, that Lilith and Leo energy, I really feel like, and I'm kind of getting a download about it, that it's really going to nudge us, right, over the next couple of months. It's really going to be nudging us toward our greatness. And if we don't embrace it, right, there is going to be a tendency for us to get into chemical dependency, the drugs, the weed, the cocaine.
I'm so glad you said that.
Go ahead, Mel.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, go ahead. Go on.
No, I'm glad you said that because that is the essence of the 7 year. The 7 year, it's about intellect, it's about intuition, but 7 in and of itself is a number of escapism. So you'll know by the way that people talk and how they interact, you'll know whether you need to be fucking with certain people or not. People who are all about the small talk, nothing of substance, gossip, like that is going to lead. I just said you can tune into frequencies extremely quickly as a conscious person. Entertaining, it's not to say that you can't talk to people, you can't shoot the shit or whatever. But if that's where you're at, you are going to fall down a rabbit hole extremely quickly. Okay. Like this is the year where I feel like it's like sink or swim. And there are some people who are already sinking. It's like they've got cement blocks on their ankles. Mm-hmm. And engaging with them is just going to have you sink even quicker. Mm-hmm. And there's going to be a lot of people who are going to look for outlets to escape because this is one of those years where you just cannot escape yourself.
Not at all.
It's either spirit is going to be knocking you upside the head. You are like your internal emotional well-being may be at turmoil, or like your relationships are just going to be reflecting it back to you repeatedly. And so people, it's going to be sensory overload for some people. It's going to be emotional overload for some people. So people are going to be looking for a lot of ways to escape. And you'll notice these people because they ain't got shit to talk about.
Right.
All they want to talk about is love and hip hop, or all they want to do is party, or all they want to do is drink, get high, do all of this shit, right? Fuck around and find out. That's what this year is about.
Right. Fuck around and find out. Exactly. That's what we
That's
on.
what this year
That's
is
what this
about.
year is on. Yeah, I agree with you. That's what this year is on. It's a fuck around and find out. Yeah. And you know, there's gonna be a lot of messages in your personal life, people that pop up. You know, I believe everyone's gonna have their Mr. Miyagi this year. There's gonna be a Mr. Miyagi that pops up, so to speak, an enlightened teacher, right? That is perfect for you. You know, it may become in the form of a boo. It may become in the form of somebody at work, somebody in the streets, somebody you happen to meet at the health food store, wherever. But they're gonna be provided because the universe is kind. You know, God is kind, God is love. So they're not going to leave you without the ability to change and shape yourself. But if you don't, right, as I said last night, some people will be hospitalized. Some people will be in jail, right? I believe the prison system is going to have a record year, right? Some people will die unexpectedly out of nowhere, right? How did they die? This person was healthy, right? So, and those are the people that are not redeemable, right? Because the planet got to wash away certain people because the frequency is rising. We're in a quickening. And the things that you think, right? That's why it's very important what Mel was saying, what you are taking in, the people that you're surrounding yourself with, the things that you are hearing, because what you're taking in is going to manifest at a rapid rate as never seen before. You're going to see people that are going to tap into different psychic abilities, right? Because they are doing the right thing. You're going to see people that are not, right? As this time happens and there is this quickening and you start to see things manifest, people are going to be manifesting negative shit into their lives. And they're going to blame the devil. They're going to blame their mama. They're going to blame their childhood, right? They're going to blame everything else except them not doing the work. So you don't want to be caught up. So as Mel said, this year, 2023, fuck around and find out. Okay. That's the theme. That's the theme. I'm running with that. You know what I'm saying? I love it. Fuck around and find out. Because it's really gonna be that type of year.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I see that Marjorie has a comment. Said, had to let go of those people to try to surround myself with like-minded people. When Pluto goes into Aquarius between March and June, that's going to be the preview of what the next 20 years is like. And when that happens, that's when you're going to find your people. Like that's when you're going to be magnetized to your people, where you're going to find your soul group, your soul tribe. And that's really, I feel like that time frame is really going to show you who you are aligned with and who you aren't aligned with.
What time frame was this?
March to June.
Okay.
When Pluto is in Aquarius.
Okay.
When Pluto changes signs, it's a new generation. So because Pluto was about to change signs, we get a preview of it this year for a short 3 months. And that preview is going to show you and allow you to feel what the next 20 years is going to be like. And because it's in Aquarius, that's all about technology, but it's also about humanity. It's also about grouping together with like-minded people. So I feel like for some, this year is going to start out kind of feeling lonely, especially because 7 is a very introspective year. I feel like a lot of people Spirit is sitting a lot of people down, especially in January and February. Like a lot of people are being told to take several seats because they need to really focus on them. Exactly. And so people are really starting to, if you haven't already, like people are really starting to learn about themselves, or even just having to spend time with themselves. And I feel like we're going to get a reprieve from that in March when Pluto goes into Aquarius. That's when you're going to be like, okay, I've spent the last couple of months really focusing on me and studying myself and figuring out who I am. Now I feel like I'm ready to find people who are just like me, or find people who are vibing on that same wavelength. So I feel like March through June is going to be a nice time where you can, even though a lot of people may be called to not get rid of people in their lives, but distance themselves from people or detach from certain people. I think that March through June is going to be a time where you can reconnect with people who are more aligned to who you are and where you're trying to go.
Yeah, and those are me and you, Mel. We talked behind the scenes about the Dark Knight Rises, and there may be an event that forces people to come together. I'm going to say that right without saying too much, but there may be events that are going to force your hand, where you're going to have to be like-minded. And if you are around the wrong people or surrounded with the wrong people, it may be you to your physical demise. So you really want to get yourself into a frequency. Use this time again to plan and study and get yourself into an alignment with yourself, right? Not with alignment with the people around you, but alignment with yourself. So you're able to identify people of your tribe, right? I remember there was an episode of The Walking Dead, right, or a season of The Walking Dead where they had this guy called the Mayor, right? And Rick Grimes was basically, The Walking Dead has all the zombies. So Rick Grimes brought himself and his family there. And the mayor seemed like a good guy, right? It was a place of refuge. He had his own town, food, right? But they fucked around and found out that the mayor was a piece of shit, right? He wasn't all he seemed to be, right? So this is a year of deception. This is a year of cunning, right? The scammers are still going to scam, right? They're still going to do what they got to do to scam you, to manipulate you. So you have to be able to be discretionary. That's one of the things I just read in this book by Lord Strayhorn. You have to be able to have discernment. And the way you have discernment is by knowing thyself. You can't get it from a book. You can't get it from reading spy novels, right? I've done all that, right? Can't get it from just watching something. You have to be able to have an inner knowing, intuition, right? Your inner self. And this is the best time to develop intuition, because people are sat down. Even here in New York, like it rained the whole New Year's Eve day. The whole day it rained. I had a situation. I was going to go out. Everything went wrong to where I couldn't go out. My phone wouldn't charge. There was somebody who pulled a gun out on a bus when I was going to Fordham Road. It was just a lot of shit happening that day. I wanted to go to Macy's. Macy's closed early. It was just, everything was falling apart, right? And once I canceled going, I did my reading, right? I'm going to show you how to do the I Ching probably, what's today, Monday? So Wednesday, I'm going to show you how to do an I Ching reading. But when I did my I Ching reading and I said disillusion, right? Youthful folly. I said, nah, I'm not going. I canceled with the person I was going to go with. They were cool about it. Thankfully, right? I didn't have to deal with that because I'm already dealing with grief with my sister. So I didn't have to deal with that. But when I canceled, I have a wireless charger. So I can only use my wireless charger. For some reason, I didn't drop my phone or anything. It was just a little bit of rain, but I couldn't plug my charger in to charge it. So I was only on my flat wireless charger. Do you know, as soon as I canceled, I plugged it in and my charger started working? My phone started charging. So intuition, right? And me and Mel saw a video, right, where, there was a situation where somebody was capping on the suicide, so to speak. And I would have been on that train line. It was a train line that I would have been on to go down there. So I probably would have, my New Year's Eve would have been probably rung in on the motherfucking New York City subway, which is the wackest way to do it in the world, right? So I was able to stay home, and all of a sudden I just started channeling 80s music, right, and celebrated my sister in my own way. So I say that to say, listen to your intuition, trust your intuition, learn. I think everyone should take this time to learn some form of divination. The time is right. We don't want to rely on thy own understanding. We want to be able to tap into the soul. And I will just say that for now. If you do need a reading, you can contact me. You can hit me up. Let me put my banner right here because I am doing readings. I have been doing a lot of channeling lately. So the readings I have done for my previous clients, they have been coming through for some reason. And I'm scared of some of y'all, but I'm willing to do the work. All right. So hit me up if this is something you are interested in. That is my email. Thank you so much, Straight Panther. I do appreciate that so very much. Yeah, rest in power to my sister Rosie.
My condolences, Rob. I know that's tough.
Yeah, thank you. I'm working through it and handling it the best as I can. I'm trying to be strong. Well, not trying, being strong for my family, so. But I do appreciate all the love, all the condolences, all the likes on my posts and things like that. It means a lot, and it helps me to, that those dopamine hits help me to continue going forward and not be here like a little crybaby and do the work. So Thank you guys for that. And last but not least, Mel, let's talk about what we came here for. The initial thing. Talk a little bit about the Cancer full moon. Okay, coming on the 6th. In Egyptian mythology, the Cancer is Khepera or Khepri, and this is the dung beetle, right? That is the dung beetle rolls a ball of shit, right? A ball of poop, and basically it plants its seeds in that dung beetle. And what it does is it rolls the dung beetle towards the sun, so towards the rising sun and the setting sun. And what the dung beetle, the seeds are actually feeding off the dung. So, and then it brings it to the wife, and then the children are born, right? The scarabs are born. But it's a symbol of resurrection. It's a solar symbol. It's a symbol of creation as well. And Cancer season is all about the feels, right? All about the emotions. Talk to us about how this Cancer season is lining up, especially being in Saturn, right? Which is an earthbound sign. But the Cancer being a water sign, that water and earth connection. Talk to us about how that's flowing in our lives and how that's going to impact us and what we can, do.
So Cancer itself is a very feminine energy, okay? And it's no coincidence that this full moon is happening at 16 degrees Cancer, which is 7, right? So you cannot escape the number 7 this year, even if you tried. It's like the universe's way of telling you to look within. All right. I like what you said. I like the analogy and the information you gave about the dung beetle, because that is sort of the essence. Well, obviously, that's sort of the Egyptian mythology or ethos of explaining that. When in Tarot, the Chariot card is representative of Cancer energy, and it's sort of it's combining darkness and light to move forward. So just like the number 7 is about your intellect, it's about your intellect plus your intuition. This full moon is going to shine a light on both for us, your intellect and your intuition, right? Because the sun is going to be in Capricorn. So Capricorn, although it's not an air sign, it's about physicality, it's about your tangibility, okay? And so you're sort of putting that together with your intuition. And successfully integrating the two is what allows you to move forward, okay? But there's this and moving forward is not necessarily in the way you may think it is, right? It's not action oriented, because we're talking about feminine energy. So this is about putting your mind in the right place and being receptive, right? Some of us are going to have to do some emotional spring cleaning with this full moon, because it's what most people don't talk about is that when you're talking about manifestation, if your emotional body is out of whack, it's going to be very difficult for you to manifest anything, because manifestation comes from your subconscious, and your subconscious is going to be highlighted at this full moon. So many of you are going to experience your subconscious coming up to the surface. And because this moon is going to be opposite the sun, and the sun is in Capricorn, it's going to come to you. It's going to be reflected to you in a very practical sort of way. So basically, the people, places, and things are going to reflect to you what's going on inside. And now that you have that information, use that with your intuition, put those two together and move forward, and you'll be able to move forward successfully. But because Cancer is, and it deals with your basic emotional needs. So, Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces, those are all the water signs. Those all deal with emotions, but they deal with different types of emotions, right? That Cancer emotional side is your childhood emotions, your basic emotions of love, acceptance, shelter, feeling secure, all of those things. And I feel like how you feel about those things subconsciously is going to be reflected back to you in people, places, and things around you. And you're going to be able to see if your basic emotional needs are being met or not. And who needs to fulfill those needs for you. That all depends on where it's going down in your chart. For some, this may be that you have people around you who are not making you feel secure, who are not making you feel loved or protected, even whether it's family, friends, or otherwise. And that's gonna come smack you in the face with this full moon, because the full moon just gonna illuminate all of this. Okay. For others, it may be your job. Are you finding emotional fulfillment in your job? Are you working? You're working, but are you actually secure? right? I feel like the full moon is gonna show that to you. Like it's gonna, what do they call that thing? Like whenever they want to call Batman, they put that
the bat signal. The bat signal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that bat signal, that floodlight is gonna be shown on that area of your life. And you're gonna see, okay, maybe I'm working this job, right? But I'm really not secure, right? My basic needs are not being met by this job, and I need to do something about it, right? And the axis, whenever you have a full moon, it's the sun opposite the moon. So there's an axis that's highlighted, and it's that Cancer Capricorn axis. It's also the difference between your inner life and your outer life, your private life and your public life, right? So some people, this may play out that maybe you flexing for the gram, maybe you living for everybody else, right? Because that's where you feel your basic emotional needs are met. I feel I need to be accepted, so I need to flex on the gram. I need to look like I'm living a certain lifestyle to feel accepted in myself. And this full moon is going to obliterate that shit. It's going to show you how what you perceive as being acceptance is really not.
It's really poo-poo.
Okay, so this is going to be one of those full moons that's going to be highly sensitive. A lot of people are going to be in their feelings. Exactly. People are going to be in their feelings. Like people are really going to be butthurt about a lot of things, to be honest. Like people are going to be crabby. People are going to be moody. People are going to be like errant toddlers throwing temper tantrums because these are your basic emotional needs. So people are going to be really in their feelings and acting out, right? And Mars is still going to be retrograde in Gemini. So all of this shit that you're feeling is all going to be on the inside. A lot of people are not going to be able to express it. You're not going to be able to effectively communicate, especially with Mercury retrograde also. Like it's just going to be a powder keg for some people. So you really need to be conscious of the conversations you're having with people around this full moon, because people are really going to be agitated. They're going to be aggy. They're going to be feeling like throwing a temper tantrum. And because they can't effectively communicate, it's like a powder keg waiting to explode.
Yeah. The prison system's gonna love this full moon. I feel that coming. I feel like a lot of relationships, a lot of unfortunate domestic abuse, domestic violence, people that are in the wrong relationships, superficial relationships, people that really don't have a firm grip on reality, right? So with that Cancer energy, with that crab or that scarab energy, the scarab again, it moves towards the light. It always is following the light, even in the moonlight, right? It's following the light, and as the light is ascending. So we want to be people during this time, we want to follow our inner light, and we want to already be planting seeds, right? Just like the scarab planting seeds right now in this shitty world that we're in, right? We want to be able to plant seeds so that we can navigate towards the light no matter what is going on around us. The scarab is never straying, right? No matter what, you flip it, you throw it on the side, whatever, it's still going to realign right back to you could turn it the other way, it's going to realign right back to, I was looking at like a little bit before, I was looking at like beetle videos, right? And no matter what, even if you put it, like they had a scientist that put it like in an isolated room, right? And, shades and everything. And it's still, even though the sun didn't get the sunlight, it still was going towards the sun, right? With the same environment indoors, it still was going towards the sun when it was rolling its dung. So it's always going to be going towards the light. You have to always be going towards your light, and only you know what your inner light is, right? Everybody's inner light is different. Some people are on different stages, different areas of development, right? But shine your light. The Hulk is not Thor. Thor is not Captain America. Black Widow is not, Storm. Wolverine, et cetera, right? Whatever characters you want to put it. Cinderella is not, Rapunzel, right? They all are different, right? They all have different abilities. They all have different magical powers. So you want to be able to tap into your inner reservoir and use these different tools that you have, right? Everybody in 2023, you should have an altar. You should have some sort of altar set up in your home so that you can have a vortex of energy you could go to where you can make your petitions. You could do your spell work, right? You could have your writings and craft your things where you can light your candles during these new moons, especially. and set your intentions and then reaffirm them during the full moon. When there's a new moon, it's really about you setting your intentions. And then during that time period, it's like you figuring out if what you set is really what you're supposed to be doing and if it's really going to work for you. Another thing I want to mention, and during the full moon, sorry, is when, you kind of spike that energy up, right? Biochemically, you get less sleep during the full moon. So it's literally a time of activity. It's a time when you want to do your dancing, the time when you want to listen to your frequencies, the time when you want to, if you got a boo, make love, things like that. You want to engage that energy, stir that Kundalini energy up, stir those intentions up and rise them out into the ethers, right? You have blood plasma. There's something called solar wind that has plasma in it as well, right? So there's a as above, so below connection, even scientifically. So you definitely want to tap into that, especially during this time and during when the emotions are rising. One thing about us, those of us that are melanated beings, is we have high levels of emotion, right? We already know that through our music, right? So emotions are really one of the tools that we could use correctly. But we have something called emotional intelligence that many of us are not using because of the society that we are in, this Western world that teaches us to be certain ways and put certain images out of us on a repetitive basis. Repetition is the father of memory. So the more we see images of us in our lower level nigger state, right, so to speak, the more that gets perpetuated. The BMFs, the powers, the this, the that, the news, right? Every other story is somebody doing some bullshit that's black, right? So all these things that we are watching and we're taking in, we really got to be careful because, again, these things are going to perpetuate in our lives, right? In our individual lives. And we're going to be wondering what's happening. And it's not the universe is not doing it to you. It's you doing it to you. Everything that you see is a reflection of you. So it's you doing it to you. So you really got to get into the point of sharpening. Somebody said that they are what you call it. I want to talk about this real quick and then we're going to get out of here. I forgot who said it, but they said that they are in a 5-year. You want to talk about that a little bit, Mel? They're in a 5-year this year.
So being in a 5-year is all about change, right? And it's more so than change, it's about personal freedom. So it's a year of like moving and shaking. It's a year of figuring out what works for you. It's a year of breaking out of the mold. And you're going to do that by learning, right? And using your intuition because we're in a universal 7-year. So learning things outside the box, learning what works for you as an individual rather than just following the herd is how like a 5 personal year would work in a universal 7-year, in my opinion.
I agree with you. Yeah, 5, Nation of Gods and Nerds, they have something called Supreme Mathematics, and they have something called the 1 to 10 and within the Supreme Mathematics. So the number 5 is power refinement, right? But there's a scale, right? So it starts with knowledge, right? Which is information, wisdom, understanding. Wisdom is basically utilizing that information, right? Walking with that information. Wisdom, walking with that information. Understanding, because you can't understand the knowledge that you have until you utilize it. I can write the best poem about sex and the best books about sex, but until you have sex, actually go through the wisdom and understand about having sex, you don't understand what sex really is, right? So once you get that understanding, then you have a lifestyle. It's called culture, right? Culture is how you cultivate yourself. That lifestyle will lead to your freedom, right? How you free yourself, how you express yourself, how you interact in the world. And then the next number after that is number 5. So number 5 is power refinement. And that power is your personal power. Like I was talking about the X-Men or any group, right? Is, LeBron is different than Kyrie Irving. Kyrie Irving is different than Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan is different than Luka Doncic, right? Speaking of women, Black Widow, again, is different than Storm, right? Everyone has their own individual powers. So your power is what you are. And the way you get into your power is by refining that power, okay? Yeah, Marjorie, I got you. That refining that power. And so it's power 5 is power refinement. So how do you refine that power? You have to chisel away at the negative aspects within yourself. What are the negative aspects in yourself? The things that you are holding yourself back from to help you achieve your purpose. Whatever crutches that you have, right? Whatever vices that you have that may be holding you back, that may be limiting your health, that may be limiting, it could be diet, it could be friends, it could be sex, it could be drugs, it could be people, it could be people pleasing, right? There's a myriad of things. Only you know what that is for you. But part of tapping into your own individual power, which is part of your culture, is going to be part of your lifestyle, is you refining that. And then you get into a place of balance. And that's where, when they talk about in the Bible, the snake is rising, right, on the tree of life, and you have the knowledge of good and bad. So you will be like gods, right? That's where you're able to see the good, so-called, and the bad, and see that they both must exist and be balanced like all things should. Word to Thanos. So that's the 5 year that I got for you guys. All right. Yeah, Hollow Vegeta said this. I want to talk about this real quick and then we get out of here. Mel said, call me back at the God Hour. So the God Hour, right, for the Nation of Gods nerds, people who grew up under that philosophy, God Hour was 7 o'clock, 7 p.m., right? Now we're in the Western world. A lot of things have changed, right? But there was always a time when you had to go within, right? Where you would go within. And go within was basically you studied, right? You studied your 120 lessons. You had to study these 120 lessons and commit them to memory. Now, 120 lessons is not something small, right? I studied 120 lessons. I had to recite them to what they called an enlightener, right? And it was random, like lesson number 12, see lesson number this. And you had to recite them word for word. At the time, if you didn't recite them word for word, now some people had different, variables. I ain't letting nobody hit up on my big ass, but there was different penalties where you would get beat down if you were saying the wrong thing, if you was playing with this knowledge, right? Now it's different. People could just talk shit and there's no real accountability. But at the time, if you said you knew 120 lessons and you came into a cipher and you was talking that shit and you didn't know your 120 lessons, or you was in a God cipher and you didn't know what you were talking about, there was penalties to be paid, right? And some of those penalties could just be you being ostracized from the group. You would not be having access to the knowledge. This is pre-internet. So the God Hour is a time where you take, and if you have that, look, keep it real. You got an hour a day. You got an hour. If you don't have an hour, start with a half hour, but you got the time. You might have to sacrifice a sports game. You might have to sacrifice a reality show. You might have to sacrifice some entertainment, right? But is it worth it? Is it worth it to gain psychic abilities for you to do that? Is it worth it to have clairvoyance, clairaudience, clairsentience, right? Now I'm getting into the thick of it, right? Is it worth it there's the sacrifices that you take to study yourself and to master yourself? Because that's what it comes with, right? That's what it comes with. It comes with spiritual, going through the hardships and going through the struggles and mastering different levels. It comes with spiritual gifts. Please know that it's not just doing it just to be cool. It's not just doing it so you could be safe and protected. You're going to go through some shit. You're going to go through some ups and downs. But if you have a God Hour where you're dedicating yourself 1 hour each day to study, to personal development, even if you're not reading or picking up a book, just reflection, meditation, reviewing your day, scripting, writing out your journaling, right? Taking that time, split it up 15, 15, 15, 15, whatever works for you. But if you're going each day, guess what is programming you? The Matrix. It's impossible not to. There's too many influences out here from when you step out the door to when you are in the doors, from TV to social media, social engineering. There's too much going on that if you're not training yourself in your dojo, well, you're not going to get caught up. It is impossible for you not to get caught up. Don't play yourself, okay? You have to do the work in 2023. If you're not going to do the work, you will be left behind, and there will be something that shakes your ass up, and you may not be ready and prepared and get the internal intuition, right, to have the school of thought to know how to navigate. It's very important. Mel has warned you, okay? She put out a dope video on Instagram about this upcoming year, right? I have warned you, okay? We don't know exactly what's going to come, okay? I have a good feeling, right? I'll talk about that in my Dark Knight Rising video, which I'll set up soon, right? That you guys could buy into. But with these things come that I predict are going to come, it's going to be a very, very serious year, right? I'm not trying to scare you. Guys know I ain't a doom and gloomer. I'm going to survive it. You know what I'm saying? Rod gonna survive it. Mel gonna survive it, right? People that fuck with me, we gonna survive it. That's the way I look at it, right? But I'm delusional with fate. Like as delusional as I was that believe Christopher Columbus discovered America, that's how delusional I am that good shit happens to me every day. But it's a program, right? This is a program that I'm running on myself, right? Same way the news programs you to think that your neighborhood is the most dangerous place in America is the same way I program myself to think my neighborhood is the best place in America and shit ain't gonna happen to me. All right? I delude myself. Why not? You know, if they worked the other way, it could work this way too, and it has been. So last but not least, I want to say this, Mel, you could chime into this. There's 3 things I noticed when you are going on this path, okay? And when you embark on this, right? Number 1, something falls apart. Lose job, lose your home,
Or everything.
car, court, right? Things happen. Shit falls apart. Shit doesn't go the way that you think it's going to go. When things fall apart, it's to make way for something new, right? The old has to be destroyed for some new foundation to be laid. It's just the way it is, unfortunately. But that is to develop also your spiritual strength and spiritual power. Once you master that challenge, you will level up. I promise you. I've been there. I'm still going there, right? Life ain't perfect for me either. It ain't perfect for Mel. It ain't perfect for none of us, right? We're all trying to do the best, and it never will be, right? There's no utopia, right? There's no, back in Africa, everybody was peaceful and kumbaya. No, they had Medjay warriors too, right? In Egypt, they were fighting. There were different things going on, right? They had law, again, like I told y'all last night, was created in Africa with the principles of Ma'at. So they had issues, right? They just resolved them in a different manner. They just didn't throw everybody in jail and let them rot, right? So that's the first thing. Something falls apart. The second thing, a narcissist will come in the form of a beautiful angel, like they talk about in the Bible, right? A beautiful angel, a devil, right? A narcissist, an energy vampire, to test you and test your boundaries, okay? You got to have boundaries on the people that you are going to take in. You cannot fall for the superficial shit. You cannot fall for the people are tricksters. They're going to be cunning. They're going to say they're down with you. Focus not on what they say, but what they do. Focus not on what your ears hear, what tickles your ear. When someone tells you who they are, believe them. Challenge them on it, right? Set up boundaries. This is what I'm going to take. This is what I'm not going to take. And be firm on it. If it causes you to lose the baddie, so what? If it causes you to use the rich guy, so what? Guess what? On the other side of that, there's going to be a richer guy. There's going to be a more handsome guy. There's going to be a more beautiful woman. There's going to be 5, 6, 7, or 8, 9, 10 of them lining up to be with you. Crashing your inbox. I promise you. I promise you. I'm not lying to you. Okay? So that's the second thing. Watch out for a narcissist. The third thing that usually happens after the relationship, after something falls apart, after you meet a narcissist, the third thing that happens, shit, I forgot what the third thing was, but maybe it's not important. So focus on those. Well, focus on those 2 things right now. That's what you need to focus on. Focus on watching out for those, because those are probably just going to be the 2 most primary things that happen right now. But I'll come back when I double back with the third thing. Damn, I really drew a blank on what the third thing was. But yeah, those 2 things are guaranteed to happen. Something falls apart, you meet a narcissist. So yeah, get yourself together. You know,
and it doesn't happen linearly either.
No,
like
not
should be
at all.
happening in cycles. Like you go through the one cycle, and then you're like, "Oh, I'm good." Then it's like you meet the next
It happens
motherfucker.
when you
And
think
it's
you're
like,
good.
"What?"
That's when it happens. When you think you're on top, when everything's rising, right? That's when it starts to happen. It really does. It really, really does. I've been through those cycles myself. Yeah. So you want to make sure that you're taking care of yourself. Again, your diet, right? Start eating more green foods, start eating more sun foods, incorporate. I'm not saying you got to throw everything away and throw your whole fridge out and go vegan. I'm not a vegan, but I will say you want to add more green foods. You want to be lighter of heart. Let go of the grudges. Okay. This full moon that's happening in Cancer, let go of those grudges that you're carrying, you know, don't carry that into 2023. You know, forgive people. You've done some bullshit to people too. You have. You may not think you have. You may think you're a saint, right? We all have this delusion of grandeur sometimes when we think we're the perfect people. but you've done people dirty. We all have. All right. So have grace, right? Be able to say, hey, maybe you're not going to mess with them, be around them anymore or whatever, but release the energy. You know what I'm saying? Forgive, forgive. It's okay to forgive. You're not doing it for them. You're doing it for yourself. And don't just forgive conceptually, right? Forgive from your heart space, from your heart chakra, really, really release it, really, really let it go. And this full moon is a great time that is in Cancer for that, where you could focus on the light. All right. Mel, tell the people where you are, what you're doing, and what's going on, and what services you have.
So you can find me at Divine Feminine Works on all platforms. My website is divinefeminineworks.com, YouTube channel, Instagram, all that good stuff. Currently, right now, up until January 15th, I'm doing a special on natal chart reports and progressed natal chart reports. Each of those is $60. Get it while it's hot, because today's price is not tomorrow's price.
Yeah, you can find me.
Just keeping it real. Well, actually, I say that because
I still got it. I didn't forget you, Mel. I got you before the 15th. I'm
that's
still coming.
What I'm doing for right now.
Yeah, Christmas ran me a little interference and different things, but I got you. I'm still coming for that reading. So yeah, support us, support the people that support you. And definitely support the people that support you. Don't be the energy vampire, right? Don't take people's kindness for weakness in 2023, because it's gonna fuck you up big time. We're in the quickening.
Yes.
We're in the quickening. The bullshit you manifest will return back to you, quick, fast, and in a hurry. All right, don't play around. Don't fuck around. Right? This is the year. What Mel said: fuck around and find out.
Find out.
Keep messing with these good people. Keep in the survival mode and think you're taking advantage of somebody they weak. Watch. The weak will rise up.
But it also goes the other way too. Fuck around and find out with good stuff too. You keep fucking with the good stuff, you're gonna find out some really good stuff is gonna come your way too. It works both ways.
Excellent. Yeah, Hollow say he gets paid on Wednesday. Okay. So he said, all right, so that's what's up. He said, I ain't trying to find out. That's what's up. All right. So with that being said, hold on. What did it say? Indeed, why bologna when you could have vegan chicken? That's right. Divine Goddess. All right. Shout out to Divine Goddess, House Vegeta, Majori, Portia, Philip, Straight Panther, 79. Who else? Philip Boone. Know Thyself Oracles with Linda J, Nicola Jackson. I think I have everybody. If not, we'll see you on the next round. And CN1. Yeah, I think that's everybody. But I appreciate your time. I appreciate your well wishes. And yo, what Straight Panther said, clean your house too. Yeah, clean your house. You know what I'm saying? Wash your sheets, mop your floors. Another New Year's ritual that a lot of people like to do is you get cinnamon, star anise, put it in a pot, right? Just let it boil. It's a beautiful scent, right? That goes around the house, Your parents or whatever people, if you live with people, they may not know what you're doing, but they're going to like the scent. You know what I'm saying? So you're basically blessing the whole house, Don't tell them, if they're not into they Jesus Bible thumpers, don't tell them, I'm trying to bless the house. They're going to be like, what? What are you talking about? You're bringing them demons in here. It's smelling all good. You know what I'm saying? Just be like, oh, I like the smell. You got to, the same way they're cunning, you got to kind of be cunning with your shit too, especially if these people are still trapped in the matrix. You don't want to activate an agent, right? You don't want to activate Agent Smiths if you don't have to. You want to move like Neo, and you got to move in stealth. Every time Neo's in the matrix, you notice he wears black. He never just wears any bright colors. He's always in black. So you got to move stealthy in the matrix. With that being said, peace, power, prosperity. I am Rob Blackstorm. And I am with Mel from Divine Feminine Works. Peace, power, prosperity. Purge, niggas. Purge. Purge. As Hollow said, wash your monkey ass. All right, out of here. Later.